Think you know everything about U.S. presidents? Think again. From George Washington's unexpected business ventures to JFK's hidden medical conditions, these mind-blowing facts will make you question what you learned in history class. Buckle up as we dive into the shocking, bizarre, and downright unbelievable secrets of every U.S. president. In 1797, just months after leaving office, George Washington opened a whiskey distillery at his Mount Vernon estate, producing nearly 10,000 gallons of liquor in 1799. John Adams was the first president to live in the White House, moving in when it was completed in 1800 during his administration. Thomas Jefferson helped popularize macaroni and cheese in America, even having his own recipe influenced by Italian cuisine. James Madison, standing at just 5 feet 4 inches, was the shortest president in U.S. history. In a strange coincidence, 3 of the first 5 U.S. presidents, including James Monroe, died on the 4th of July. John Quincy Adams is the only president who served in the House of Representatives after his presidency. Andrew Jackson once kept a 400-pound block of cheese in the White House, inviting the public to take some before he left office. Martin Van Buren was the first president born a U.S. citizen, as he was born after the signing of the Declaration of Independence. William Henry Harrison delivered the longest inaugural address, which some believe contributed to his death, just 31 days into his term. John Tyler, dubbed His Excellency, was the first vice president to become president due to the death of his predecessor. James K. Polk oversaw the greatest territorial expansion of any president, adding over 1 million square miles to the U.S. Zachary Taylor was nominated for president without his knowledge and only found out weeks later. Millard Fillmore was the last president who was not a Democrat or Republican, belonging to the Whig Party. Franklin Pierce defeated his former general, Winfield Scott, to become president in the 1852 election. James Buchanan was the only president to remain a lifelong bachelor, with his niece serving as the White House hostess. Abraham Lincoln was the first president to appear on a U.S. coin, with his profile still used on the penny today. Andrew Johnson was the first president to be impeached, narrowly avoiding removal from office by 1 Senate vote. Ulysses S. Grant's middle initial S didn't stand for anything. It was a clerical error that stuck. Rutherford B. Hayes had the first telephone installed in the White House, with the simple phone number 1. James A. Garfield was the first left-handed president and could write in Greek and Latin simultaneously with different hands. Chester A. Arthur was known for his fashion sense, owning around 80 pairs of pants and often changing multiple times a day. Grover Cleveland is the only president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms, making him both the 22nd and 24th president. Benjamin Harrison introduced electricity to the White House, though his family was initially afraid to use the light switches. William McKinley was the first president to ride in a car, taking a trip in a Stanley steamer in 1899. Theodore Roosevelt witnessed Abraham Lincoln's funeral procession as a child, a moment captured in a historic photograph. William Howard Taft also served as Chief Justice of the United States, a role he preferred over the presidency. Woodrow Wilson is the only president buried in Washington, D.C., interred at the Washington National Cathedral. Warren G. Harding's dog, Laddie Boy, was a regular at cabinet meetings and even had his own chair at the table. Calvin Coolidge had at least 29 pets living in the White House, including a goose, raccoons, and a bobcat. Herbert Hoover was born on August 10, 1874 in West Branch, Iowa. 54 years later, he was elected president, becoming the first POTUS born west of the Mississippi River. Franklin D. Roosevelt was the first president to appear on television, making his debut at the 1939 New York World's Fair. In 1947, President Truman solidified the U.S. Air Force by signing the National Security Act, following decades of military aviation development that began with a small Army division in 1907. In 1956, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the Federal Aid Highway Act, creating over 41,000 miles of interstate for civilian travel and military use. President John F. Kennedy was an early fan of the James Bond series, which he praised during his 1960 campaign. His endorsement of From Russia with Love in 1961 significantly boosted the series' popularity. Lyndon B. Johnson often held meetings while on the toilet, even installing phones in White House bathrooms so he could take calls during official business. Richard Nixon participated in the first televised presidential debate on September 26, 1960, against John F. Kennedy. Nixon's refusal to wear makeup and his visibly sweaty appearance gave Kennedy the edge, shifting early public favor toward his opponent. Gerald Ford was a star football player at the University of Michigan and played on the 1935 Collegiate All-Star team. He declined offers from the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers to attend Yale Law School, where he also served as an assistant football coach. Jimmy Carter, born in 1924, was the first U.S. president born in a hospital. Despite this modern start, he grew up on a farm without plumbing or electricity. Ronald Reagan loved jelly beans, even bringing over 3 tons of Jelly Belly beans to his 1981 inauguration. He used them to quit smoking and was often seen with a jar of his favorite candy. George H.W. Bush formalized the Thanksgiving turkey pardon tradition in 1989, officially granting clemency to a bird, a practice that had informal roots dating back to Abraham Lincoln. Bill Clinton, the only U.S. president to be a Rhodes Scholar, studied at Oxford University after earning the prestigious scholarship in 1968, following his time at Georgetown University. He later earned a law degree at Yale. George W. Bush co-owned the Texas Rangers from 1989 to 1998. He stepped down from his leadership role in 1994 after being elected governor of Texas, but remained invested in the team until its sale in 1998. Barack Obama won an Emmy for narrating the Netflix series Our Great National Parks, and 2 Grammys for audiobook recordings of his memoirs, The Audacity of Hope and Dreams from My Father. Before becoming president, Donald Trump made a cameo in the 1992 film Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, where he gives directions to young Kevin McAllister in the Plaza Hotel lobby. Joe Biden first ran for president in 1987, 33 years before his eventual victory in 2020. He withdrew from the 1987 race after 3 months and ran again in 2008 before finally winning in 2020. From whiskey distilleries to macaroni and cheese, U.S. presidents have fascinating stories that shaped our nation. Keep exploring history with us. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.